going on, guys? This is Sean Waller, also known as Showing Your Realtor, whatever you want to call me. Just make sure you call me. I forgot to say that in the first one. But this is, that's my intro.
Okay.
This is the new season, Strictly Free Game Podcast. We are on the spot right now. So we're at, I've been looking forward to this interview for months. I've been kind of like stalking her on the wall. And I'm like, I got to figure out how I'm actually to do this interview. I am here with Miss
Nadirah Taylor, the principal broker of Diamond Real Estate.
Also known as the NACA Queen. So if you don't know Nadira, you're going to know her after this episode. I'm pretty sure you know her already. But before we do all of that, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button, support the channel. That way we can keep growing. But Nadira,
Yes.
now back to you. Give us a little introduction to yourself.
Well, I was born in a manger. No. Like I always say in a lot of my videos, I am from Southside Jamaica, Queens.
Southside, Queens get the money?
Yes, Southside, we outside.
Yeah, we are.
And all that good stuff. But I guess just to give you a little bit of history, I've actually been doing real estate for like the last 22 years. I'm kind of like...
So you started at like 4, basically.
Yeah, I'm actually like dating myself, but 22 years. I started off as an executive assistant, worked my way with construction management, compliance, property management, and things like that. And I started Diamond Real Estate in 2016.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know it was that young. Okay. So we're going to talk about a few different things. I don't want to just stick to NACA on this one because you have so many different levels and layers to what you do, and it's super dope. Let's talk about the property management side of it. Yeah. Because I actually did property management for years.
How'd you like it?
It was a love-hate relationship with property management. I worked in a high luxury apartment building, right? And, you know, you dealt with a lot of different personalities, which I loved and I hated when it came to the first of the month. Because you had all those different personalities. But what did you like about it? Because you still actually worked in property management.
Yes. I actually loved it. So before doing property management, what I was doing was compliance. Okay. And I worked with a lot of rent-stabilized buildings. I've managed Harold Towers on 34th Street in New York, which is, it used to be the old McAlpin Hotel, and half of it was rent-stabilized. There was 1,000 units. Okay. And then I went over to the All NACA organization, and I managed and did compliance for Lenox Terrace. Once I did Lenox Terrace, I was like, you know what? I just want to do straight property management, but I still like the compliance side. Okay. I'm one of those that can find a loophole with anything, and that's probably what makes me so successful with NACA. But I think it's the compliance training. And I also love rent-stabilized units. The reason why I think I like the rent-stabilized units, especially those that are owned by larger families of, you know, that aren't like us, is because when I go into these companies and these organizations, my goal has been always to do my job. I do remember, you know, who I work for and the reason why I'm there, but also to make sure that those that were in the rent-stabilized buildings or units, so to speak, receive the same level of treatment as everyone else that may be in a luxury building.
So there's a big stigma. I'm glad you kind of said that because those rent-stabilized buildings, people kind of treat them like they're...
Right, but you have a lot of rent-stabilized buildings on the Upper West Side.
Yeah, that most people don't even think are rent-stabilized, but they are rent-stabilized buildings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my thing is when I was always part of new acquisitions. So when they take over new buildings that are rent-stabilized, it's like, okay, so here you have these white owners, and they're coming in and they're taking over the building. And of course, now in Harlem, most of the rent-stabilized units are, you know, still owned by black people and things like that. I came in with them to kind of like soften it up. Okay. You know, I did meet and greets, breakfasts, dinners, lunches, anything to introduce the property management, just to let them know, like, hey, we're not coming in here taking over and you're going to be put out.
And kicking you out, because that's the first thing people think. Yeah.
Exactly. So even with doing the sales, I still had like that hunger for property management, and we started 2016. By 2018, I was back doing property management full swing.
Wow. Okay. So what made you get into residential real estate? Because that's two totally different animals. Rent stabilized, residential real estate is...
I'll be honest with you, and my youngest daughter, she's going to kill me. She was in the 5th grade. She was acting up.
Uh-oh. Okay.
They called me on my job at least 2-3 times a day.
So mom had to be home.
Yeah, so you know, one of those things that when I get home, I'm going to tear you up.
I've been there.
And I'm working in the city, so by the time I done took the train, came home, cooked dinner, homegirl done got away with some stuff. So I was doing property management at the time, managing co-ops and condos in Soho and, you know, other areas of the city. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to get my real estate license because I can't, you know, it's like I walked in the door with a phone call from the school. I left the door with a phone call from the school. And I'm like, there has to be another way. So I took my sales class. And then I'm like, you know, I've been doing this for like, at that time, like maybe 15 years. Like, I don't understand why I have to be a sales agent like that. So I called the state of New York, doing my compliance stuff. And I must have called like 5 times, spoke to 5 different people until I had the answer that I wanted. My thing was, I've been doing this for 15 years, working at different companies. Why do I have to be a sales agent? I need to find out why I can't just be a broker. I don't understand. Miss, you can't. All right, bye. Call back. Miss, you can't. Well, I need to speak to your supervisor then. On hold for another hour. Miss, you can't. By the 5th person, I was like, I need you, your supervisor and their supervisor to explain to me why I've been working all these years of my life doing real estate. And they were like, well, who said that? The other 4 people I spoke to. They said, well, if you can show us that you did, I forgot what the number was then, X amount in sales. So I said, well, what about leases? They said, well, rentals is fine too. I said, oh, okay, I'll call back. I don't even think I did any work that day. And it's funny because, like I said, I was managing co-ops and condos in Soho. So even in 2015, 2016, they're selling at $5 million, easy. Yeah. So I didn't even need to go. I thought I was going to have to go back all the way to 2001 when my career first started and start pulling. I was able to do it within like the last 3 sales that happened while I was the property manager because they couldn't sell it without me signing off on it. Wow. So those were considered to be my sales.
Really?
Really.
That's
See? Wow. Game on top of game on top of game.
That's crazy. I did not know that because, like I said, I was doing it for so long too. I probably could have just went straight got my broker's license.
Yeah. All you had to do is go through your paperwork and whatever leases you signed off on, whatever sales you signed off on, you could have went straight to the.
Damn. I wish I would have had this conversation like 2 years ago. That's crazy.
When I managed Lenox Terrace, at that point, I started off as a compliance director. And that's back when Cuomo, when a lot of people, and again, I'm sorry, I'm throwing up my rent stabilized legalese, but they deregulated the apartments, quote unquote, irregularly. It was being done across the board, and when someone at Peter Cooper Stuytown sued for his apartment being deregulated, you know that takes precedence over everything else. And it's called the Roberts decision. So Cuomo put together a tenant protection unit, TPU, to go after landlords for deregulating apartments illegally, even though it wasn't illegal before the Roberts decision. And we got hit with a 44-unit inquisition. And I put together a 50-page template along with a big real estate law firm in Manhattan. And we won all 44 units. Wow. So if that, it's not that taught me, but that made sure and it clarified that there's a loophole to everything. Yeah, yeah. So, and that's just what
if anyone's going to find that's going to be Nadira.
Exactly.
Find that loophole. All right, so you went from property management. Now you have your broker's license. I didn't know you could do that. That's crazy. And then how did you get involved with NACA? First of all, what is NACA?
Okay. So NACA, Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. Every time someone asks me what that means, I'm like, oh shit, what does that mean? But that's what it means. So I actually found NACA on a whim, right? Okay. Someone came to me and was like, hey, you know, I'm going to this housing seminar, and this was back in 2008. It was like, I'm going to this housing seminar, do you want to come with me? And I'm like, sure, but I just met this person, this a girl, whatever. And I thought she was a little crazy. So I invited my friend. I was like, I just met this girl, you know, she seemed cool or whatever. And she invited me to a housing seminar, come with me. So the 3 of us go to this housing seminar. And we sitting there, and just like everybody else, I'm like, yeah, right. And especially because I'm doing real estate. Yeah. You know, I'm like, get out of here. You can't do that. You can't. But at the back of my head, I'm like, at this time, I'm like, this is going to be the only way I'm going to get a house is if I do this. So now it's to the point I went from, you know, this is BS, it can't be done, to in the back of my mind, I'm praying, like, I really hope that this is legit. Yeah. So the girl who invited me, she never even bought a house through NACA.
She never even went through the program.
She never even went through the program. Okay. But my friend and I did. And we're like going through the program, but at the time I just had a bankruptcy, and my bankruptcy wasn't 2 years old. So my friend, she purchased her house in 2010, and I purchased my house 2011 through NACA. Okay. And going through the process like everyone else, I say it over and over again, I hated it. you know, because they do make sure that you dot all your I's, that you cross all your T's. And I think where a lot of people go wrong at, and I didn't realize how wrong I was till I started helping other people, is that we look good on paper, like we have the salary, but we're not really saving our money. We just know that we want a house. I happen to grow up in a house, and I wanted a house. I was tired of apartment living. It just wasn't for me. But mind you, no money saved.
Yeah.
So what they did, and mind you, you heard me, I said like 2008, but I didn't buy it till 2011. So I did have to like start saving my money and things like that. And I can be honest, I was a little bit of the problem too. Like I done started house shopping and went into contract before I was even qualified to.
No.
Yo.
Did you?
I did. Thinking I was going to find a loophole. I think NACA's the only one who was like, I don't care what your background is, there's no loopholes here. So I did that, but luckily the MLO that I had, she was like amazing, even though I didn't treat her at the time like she was amazing, but she was definitely amazing. I purchased my house. Okay. Once I'm living in the house and my mortgage in Long Island taxes, and this includes my insurance, is $18.50 a month.
Wait, bring that back?
$18.50 a month.
$18.50 a month, including your taxes.
Including my taxes everything. And my insurance. And my interest rate is 1.625. I'm looking at the camera on that one. 1.625.
So we have to give some game. All right. So if someone's looking to go through NACA right now, what are they doing? How are they starting the process?
Okay. Well, actually, I think back then we started off with interest rates at 3.75, 4%.
That's still amazing, yeah.
But I purchased in 2011, so I think I put up like 15. When I say I'm sorry, my husband and I, he probably like, yeah. But
we cue him in right here.
Yeah. We put up $15,000. At that time, sellers were still giving sellers concession, and they gave $15,000. Okay. Which was great. So that's $30,000, brought our interest rate down to the 1.625%. Wow. So for people doing NACA now and you hate it, that's NACA. You know, but I don't think that you will extremely be happy until you finish with the process. There's no PMI payments, and you're paying lower than what the neighborhood is calling for. Like, I've had conversations with my neighbors after I moved in, and I know for a fact that even back then, none of them are paying $18.50, including their taxes.
Yeah, they probably try to figure out who the hell, like, how did you even do that? Including the taxes.
Including taxes and insurance.
And insurance.
Yes.
That is absolutely insane. So, all right, so the steps to going through NACA. First, they would have to do what?
First, you would have to attend a 4-hour workshop.
A 4-hour workshop, okay.
Right. And when you attend a 4-hour workshop, if you choose not to listen, that's fine. You're going there for your NACA ID number. But what a lot of people are doing is that they are listening, they're not listening, but by the time they walk out those doors, they just hear free house. Yeah. Nothing is free. You need to have money. You do need to have a savings, especially with today's interest rate, the price of the houses, things like that. What a lot of people are making a mistake too is that when you're doing a multifamily house, because NACA is so big on saving, they want you to have reserves. And
is it the same like 6 months? How much reserves they use actually?
So for a 4-family, you need to have 8 months. For a 3-family, you need to have 6 months. And for a 2-family, you need to have 4 months. For a single family, they would like for you to have, 2 families 4 months, and a single family is 2 months.
Wow. Okay, that's not too bad.
No.
That's not too bad. Okay.
But if you get in a 4-family at 1.4 and your mortgage payment is $6,500, you need to have 8 months of that.
Yeah, the 8. Okay. Oh, so they don't even count. They're not even calculating like the rent that you're taking in. Well,
no, they want 8 months of the full payment.
Of the full payment. Okay. All right. So they going through. I'm gonna give you my NACA story. Okay. Because my wife and I actually went to a seminar, and me being the conspiracy theorist that I am, first they put on this old school video. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm like, what is this video from like the 30s? And now they start talking about
these. At the Javits Center.
Yeah, exactly. And they start talking about these interest rates. I'm like 1%. I'm looking at my wife like, ain't no such thing as 1%.
Listen, I've helped someone who had enough money to buy all the way down to 0.25%.
I saw your interview with Matt when you said that. That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Yes. 0.25%.
So would a person with a profile like that, what do they have to have, like A1 credit?
No, it's credit score 620. So now in today's, so that was yesterday's NACA, back when I purchased. So now in today's NACA, it's more so you can only buy down 5.25% of the purchase price, or a 1.25.
Okay. Which is still really good.
Right. So if the interest rate is 5.25%, you can only buy down to 4%.
Okay. Okay. But you can always refi later.
You can. But I would never refinance because I'm never going to get anything at 1.625.
No, if you're that low, that doesn't even make sense. So never refinance if you get anything that low. That doesn't even make sense. We were talking off camera, and I went through it's not NACA, but I went through a housing program that I was telling you about. So one of the stipulations was we have to actually stay in the house for 10 years, or we have to pay back whatever they gave us. Is NACA runs the same way?
It's 5 years.
It's 5 years.
Right.
So that's not bad at all either.
No, not at all.
Can you purchase an investment property with NACA?
Yes. So with NACA, they just want to make sure that you're not investing when you're purchasing that house. So you can't really own any property. Now, if you inherited property, you do have to go through like all the steps to show that you're not living there. Perhaps there's someone else living there. There's no mortgage on there, but you're still purchasing your home. Like you can't be in a house, the house that you inherited and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're good to go.
Wow. And you say you buy up to 4. Can you do mixed use?
Yes,
mixed
you can.
Properties? Okay.
You can do mixed use. However, it still has to meet their criteria, as far as like the rental income and things like that. They have to show a lot more proof on the rents. If it's already, like, let's say there's a store there already, there's a lot more that they would have to show.
Got you. And this is more of a conventional loan.
Yes, it is conventional.
It is a conventional. So you can always use FHA later on down the line.
Yes, you can.
That's dope. That's dope. So all right. So you went from you went to a contract and you didn't even have which is crazy. All right, I get it. Hustler, New York.
I wasn't in the sales then.
No, that's Queens.
Know.
That was the Queens in it. She's like, I'm gonna figure this out no matter how I do it. How did you become the NACA Queen though?
All right, so after I purchased the house and hated the program the whole way through, and I think I paid my first mortgage payment and spoke to like the first 3 other people that owned the home and realized what they were paying. Now I'm like, oh, NACA's like the bomb. Like now I'm looking at people like, you ain't do NACA? So I started opening up my church doors for them once a month. And we actually did that all the way up until COVID. Oh. I started helping people through the NACA process before I even thought to come into sales, because that's how much I wanted our people to take advantage of it. And I'm not like really a conspiracy theorist, but I always felt that when it comes to stuff like this, programs like this don't always be around to help us. So I try to encourage as many people as I can. Like, you better take advantage of this program. You better get into it now before it stops. It might disappear.
It might just stop tomorrow.
Right. And now we're like 11 years later, and they're still going strong. But with me, I just knew after 2 years, after I got my house, it might not be around no more. But I just kept encouraging people to go through and just help. It was to the point where I was calling NACA while I was still doing property management for people who were at my church that were calling me saying, well, you told me it was going to be this way and it's not. And I'm calling like, hey, listen, the person that came to my church, they said that they couldn't get in touch with y'all. Can someone here please give? And then after a while, I was like, I might as well do this. And then when little mama started acting up, I was like, oh yeah. I got the answer for you.
You're going to see me more often. Mommy gonna be home.
And we live right around the corner from the school too. I think my first week working from home, she was on. Everybody at school was like, "Oh, she must have had a great summer."
So look, everything happens for a reason. So she acted up at school because she wanted you closer to home.
Yeah,
that's a good spin to put on.
What it is.
You just recently purchased a building.
Yes.
You got to give us some information on that, because that is like, a lot of people ain't walking around saying I just bought a building. How many units are in this building?
It's 11 units.
Okay.
It was really stressful. Very stressful.
The process.
The whole process, to the point like even some days I wanted to just cry, and like no tears are coming out. See, people think women are very emotional. I tried to get emotional, it just wouldn't happen. It's like as if God kept saying like, really? You're gonna figure it out the same way that you do everything else. So I'm documenting the whole process. We actually did a hard money loan. Okay. I am going to refinance out of it with a commercial FHA, hopefully.
Nice.
And I'm already trying to figure out how I'm getting a second. I didn't even refinance out of this one yet, but I'm trying to figure out how I'm getting in the second one.
What are the plans with this building?
So with this building, it actually has a lot of violations. The previous owner did not take care of the building at all. It is in the Bronx. Okay. Bronx is a little different, but at the same time, they still are people. Of course. And I just walked in like, as if this was a building that I wanted to live in. I'm not sure if you've been to the Bronx lately.
I try not to go to the Bronx.
Well, the Bronx itself, there's a lot of rats in the Bronx.
Really?
Yeah, but luckily for me, they never came out like all the 6 times that I visited the building. Yeah. But the day after we closed, they were slapping 5 like we could come out now.
Oh boy.
So we actually just really went in and just like kicked ass.
Okay.
We hired an exterminator who thinks that it's necessary to send us pictures of the bodies of the rats.
They're trying to show you proof.
Yeah, so my text message was, you can show those to my husband, who's in charge of the maintenance and compliance. And, you know, so we did that. Exterminated outside. We fixed the garbage because, of course, you know, rats, they eat garbage. Mm-hmm. My husband came up with a solution. It was even to the point, though, like one of the times we visited the building, and that's when I knew I had to buy this building so I could help out the residents.
Okay.
The garden apartment, there was garbage, and I'd say bags of garbage in front of the door to the garden apartment.
Oh, wow.
And as we waited for the owner to let us in, his son must have just picked his son up from school. Kid must have been about 8 years old. And they walked past this garbage as they opened up the door, and there's still like more rows of garbage in front of their door.
Wow, wow.
I turned to my husband. I was like, "You got to figure out what you want to build in the back." And the first thing I want to do is move this garbage in front, you know, as if the little boy paid rent. But I was like in front of this little boy's door. Like, I don't think he should have to come home from school for that.
Yeah, that should be a norm.
So now my mission is to continue to buy rent stabilized buildings in the Bronx and certain parts of Queens and everywhere else. My goal has always been to help people.
Okay, I was just about to ask, because a lot of people try not to buy rent stabilized buildings because you can't do it's not really the most profitable, right?
Well, what it is just like NACA. Like I usually say, okay, NACA's like my niche or whatever the case is. But I think what makes Nadira Taylor is the fact that I like to help people. Just a little bit of backstory. My mother passed away when I was 7. Father wasn't around. I was raised by my grandmother, my aunt. So I know what it's like to need people. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And everyone needs a leg up. So again, like I was the person, if my friends want to work, oh, you need a job, I'm gonna help you look for a job. I'm gonna do, like, I just love helping people. And the more I grew into like my responsibilities at work and things like that, there was always a niche for it. I'm a trustee at my church, but my first ministry was being over the crisis ministry. And we did a lot of outreach. We did, you know, and that's what also helped me get more into the home buying process, because I wanted other people to own a home. You know, once I bought my home, I felt like everybody should have a house.
I think we all like that.
Yeah, like there's no reason why black people shouldn't have a house unless they don't want one. Not so much that it's unattainable.
But I totally agree. I think, what are your thoughts on this? I think we try to stay away from purchasing homes because we have so many people that have poisoned that well before, that tell us that home ownership is too much of a responsibility. It's a money pit. It's XYZ.
I think that's the crabs in a barrel mentality, and my goal has always been to come back for my people. But it took me a while to realize that even though I come back for them, everybody's not going to want to come back with me.
Can't save them all.
Yeah, you can't save them all. Even the assistant property manager, whom I'm grooming to be like the property manager over the other property managers, is my little cousin. You know, and I just feel it's not fair for me to achieve the level of success that I have, and the people around me aren't. My first agents were my best friend, one of my closest friends, and my daughter.
Okay. The same daughter that...
No, the 26-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At that point, she was like 21, 22. But, you know, those were the first, like, I'm coming back for my people. Now, again, if I come back and you're not ready, don't be mad if I don't come back again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've always just wanted everyone to be successful. And I've always said that when I get to the top, I don't want to eat alone. You get what I'm saying?
I like that.
I have to have someone eating with me. Like, you
need
to share.
You can't sit at the table by yourself.
Exactly. But a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I see the memes all the time, be like, oh, I create my own table, and I do. Like, that's lonely. Like, why can't I have a seat at your table? You get what I'm saying? Like, I've never thought that was fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to try and create as many opportunities as I can. And the property management with the rent stabilized is still me helping people. NACA was me helping people. Most of the people who choose to do NACA is because they can't afford a mortgage anywhere else. Some people are just taking advantage of the program.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they wouldn't have been able to afford a mortgage without it. I wouldn't have been able to. I can't say that the rigorous process that NACA put you through, my savings is impeccable. And I mean, I could put money I could split up $1 5 ways and still have change left over, and I don't even miss the other 4 ways that I done split this dollar up with. So I mean, and these are lessons that people who choose not to go through NACA, they don't know. So even at my church, I'm helping people budget their money. I'm one of those people like, well, if you don't mind me knowing how much you make every week, let's write this down. You know, I'm that person. So
that's dope.
You can't make a lot of money off of rent stabilization, but you can make some money. And the more buildings I own, the more money I make.
The more money you make. Yeah.
You can't make that much money off of NACA as a referral agent because there is a referral fee.
Okay.
But the more houses I sell, the more money I make. The more houses I sell, the more people I help. The more buildings I buy, the more people in those rentals I help.
That's deep. That's deep. Yo, listen, I respect it because you touched on a lot of different layers in that, right? Like our people, one, we don't like to talk finances with each other. We really like to talk with family,
exactly.
Especially a stranger, right? And I think that's what holds us back the most sometimes, especially when it comes to like the savings part of it. With NACA, because I know when I did my program, we had to save a certain amount of dollars and they matched that money towards the down payment. Is NACA something similar to that? Do they watch like your saving habits?
They do watch your saving habits. They call it a payment shock, so to speak. And whatever amount that is, you have to do that all the way to the closing table.
Okay.
So my thing is, if you're going to do it to the closing table, why not do it after?
Yeah, very true.
You know, so of course, so let's say your rent is $1,500 and you're saving $1,000, that's $2,500. So they'll approve you for a $2,500 mortgage. But I feel like if I could save $2,500, then I could save $2,600, $2,700. So those are things that we aren't taught in school, but those $100 add up.
Add up, yeah, add fast. Now with NACA, they don't give you a traditional pre-approval, right?
They give you a property-specific letter. So each letter that they give you go through underwriting, so to speak, and they make sure that you're approved for that property. I've seen the interest rate jump from the time we put in a request for it and the time we got it back, and the email response is like, no, they don't qualify.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, yes, they do.
How long does it usually take to get the letter back?
Sometimes it could take up to 24 hours.
Oh, okay, so it's not too bad.
But I'm one of those with the...
You one of those, yeah, you sending, it's supposed to be in the inbox like... How was it shopping with NACA during the crazy market that we went through?
I think I took 2 weeks off.
For the whole year? Or for the whole time? You talking?
Yeah, at the beginning when they shut everything down, I took 2 weeks off. And I was showing houses with gloves on, mask on. It was still cold. Yeah. Had like, I'm gonna open the door. I'm gonna go in first. Then when I go in, I'm gonna come out. Then you go in. You know, because back then we ain't know what. Like, don't touch me. Don't. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, I was doing closings in the parking lot.
Were you having a hard time getting those offers accepted with NACA? Like
I think when the pandemic first started, they didn't care where the office was going.
Oh, as long as because no one
they just wanted to sell.
yeah. I'm mad.
You're like, this bank is on the moon. All right, there's satellites up there.
I'm so mad I ain't buy something in Manhattan.
Oh,
like those condos prices, man. I'm so mad
I think that was the only thing that was dropping. Everything else was going up.
Everything else was going up. Manhattan was just taking a hit, like 50%. Like it was crazy in the city. You mentioned a construction company.
Yes.
How long have you had the construction? Well, your husband has the construction company.
We've had the construction company since 2020.
2020. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's fairly new. We did a couple of flips during the pandemic.
Okay.
And after what, we didn't even have the license. But you know, in New York, you don't have to pull permits to do and maintain. You know, you just have to follow with the different towns, and we were in Suffolk County. And after a while, he was like, you know, I might as well get the license in. We're licensed in New York City, Nassau County, and Suffolk County.
Oh, okay.
We do NACA rehabs, 203K rehabs, and so on. And I'm pretty much his secretary when it comes to
You have a lot of hats.
Yeah, so he managed like everything in the field. He usually keeps like maybe 3 to 4 jobs going on.
Okay.
And he's pretty much like the foreman, just making sure that everything's okay, that we stay on top of the deadlines and things like that. So, you know, my hat now is doing the administrative work.
Okay.
But we also have the property management company. So right now, Diamond Mine Real Estate is the parent company. Mm-hmm. It houses the sales. DMP Management is the property management company. Okay. And DM Construction is the construction company.
Wow. And everything's fairly, you said 2016 is when you started Diamond Mine itself.
Yes.
So you did all of that in 6 years.
When you say it that way.
That's a lot.
I know, and it's funny because I'm always not so much down with myself, but sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough.
I think that's the environment that we come from, though.
You get what I'm saying?
I think that's just us, man.
But when someone mentioned it, now I'm like, oh shit!
Yeah, that's a hustle. 6 years during the pandemic.
Yes.
That's fucking insane. Like that's a lot.
And with license with sales in New York and Georgia.
I was just about to get into that. So right now you're in New York, Georgia, and that's it. I thought I heard you say something about Connecticut.
Not Connecticut, California.
Okay.
We should be licensed by the end of October. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. You're getting this.
California is like, they're different.
That's a different beast over there.
They want, 45-hour classes.
Really?
And they was not on my compliance BS when I started calling.
They said this New Yorker trying to get us over here.
Yeah, they like, she quick with it, but no.
Nothing in Florida?
Florida is going to be next.
Okay.
And the Carolinas. So what I honestly thought is that, okay, this is how I saw it happening. When we have New York and Georgia was reciprocal, then I could take that reciprocal license and get another reciprocal license. And they're like, no, Georgia was your reciprocal, so you have to take the classes for this. Oh, okay. And you have to take the classes for that. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the classes for about 4 states. Yeah. And then I'll get the reciprocating licenses from those 4 states.
Do you sleep?
See, I got my glasses on because my eyes are puffy, but I try to get some sleep.
I admire you more now. Like I don't know how the hell you do it. That's absolutely crazy. What's the goal for Diamond Mine Realty? What is, because I can't even say you're probably doing it in like a year. The way you're moving, in 5 years, where do you see Diamond Mine Realty?
In all transparency, I want to mirror a lot of the real estate firms that I came from. And that's my goal. More so on a corporate structure.
You want it on a corporate structure?
I do want it on a corporate structure.
Okay.
I would like to own a lot of buildings, rent stabilized and fair market. I would like to have the sales open in several states. And I would like the construction business to take off. So we also have our MWBE. We just won a bid from HPD. I can't announce it yet. They told us to wait till after the 12th. Okay. And I'm just really trying to move into like a full swing real estate firm, servicing every part.
That's fire. All right. That was a lot. I wasn't expecting all that, but.
Can you imagine me at 22 years old? So when I first started in real estate, before I became executive assistant, I started with Rose Associates, which is a Fortune 500 company. And I went to school for IT. And
you went to school for IT?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I started at Rose Associates in the IT department.
Okay.
And as I'm fixing the computers within this Fortune 500 company who have offices nationally, I became friends with he was in charge of construction management. He was also a director and he was an executive. And, you know, when his assistant left, I was like, I think I want to switch over. And he's like, really? You don't like IT? No. and working in the construction management department and visiting these buildings, whether it was under the construction management or under the IT, and they actually own the buildings. And I remember seeing the plaques on each building that said Rose Associates. And that's what I want. I want the plaques in each building that says Diamond Mine Real Estate.
That's going to happen. You're almost there. It's gonna happen.
I'm trying, and I want to. So in my company, you don't have to have a degree in order to be in a management position.
Okay.
What you are going to need is the gumption and the kick-ass mentality to make sure that a task gets done.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the person who was pregnant at 17 and had a baby at 18 like me. I want the person who grew up with no parents. I want the guy that made a mistake and went to jail and came home. I want, like, those are the people that I want. Mm-hmm. Even the ones that was managed to escape jail. If you told, I don't want you. But
we'll take those.
But even if you manage to escape and you just want to change,
mm-hmm.
that's who I want. I want the people who just need a leg up in life, and I want you to help me run this company. Mm. And I want you to help me take over the world. Like, that's what I want.
I'm ready to sign up. I mean, where the paperwork is, just let me know. I admire everything that you're doing here because I think it's just fine. One, your firm, everyone looks happy here, right? I follow you guys on Instagram. Everyone looks like they're happy. What you don't see when it's a lot of us together is just everyone doesn't seem too happy. How did you build the core that you have right now?
It was difficult. So when I first started out, I wanted everyone to be like family. Mm-hmm. You know, considering the fact that family don't really like each other, I just wanted everyone to be like family. And then you started having like a lot of different attitudes and ideas. So I said, okay, fine. So we can't do that. But as it started growing, I said, well, you know what? I still want everyone to be around each other in some type of way. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we have meetings, monthly meetings. And then for those who work full time, you know, I just ask that they please come to the office at least once a month. So that this way they can just, you know, even if you're just sitting here for an hour on your laptop, you get to hear what's going on here. You listen to my daughter. She does the intake Zooms for people who are going through NACA. Okay. Just so that you could sit and listen to whatever new rules you may have missed. Or because it's not like I pick up the phone and I'm like, hey, listen, guess what's going on now with NACA. So at least this way you're getting it. If you're doing it full time, I do ask people to come in once a week. Okay. Right? So this way you're getting it, you're getting the help that you need, because with 17 agents, I can't have individual meetings. Yeah. So I think by having the monthly meetings, having people come into the office, it's still kind of creating that family atmosphere, but you don't have to. I think where families go away is when they're with each other all the time. Yeah. So you're not with the person all the time, but I think that that's what started setting the core and the tone. Okay. And I make myself available.
No. Are all of your agents NACA? Is it like a certification that you need to work with NACA, or is it just having the knowledge?
Well, we train them. So a lot of people who came here, they never even heard of NACA before they came here. And then I also have 3 of my agents, they purchased a house in NACA. 2 of them of whom I sold the house to. One of the agents, she didn't purchase through NACA, but she went through the program. She just needed NACA. So NACA is the only bank that I've dealt with so far that does not consider accessory units in Long Island the rental income. So she needed to go to another bank. Okay. But she knows the NACA process. So, and then, you know, I have family members and friends here.
And it's 17 agents total?
17 agents total. 3 in Georgia and the rest in New York.
Okay. All right. So you're growing. How many do you think you'll have by the end of the year? So if someone wanted to come to Diamond My Realty, what would they do? Like, how are you vetting them? Is it like a certain number of sales you're looking for, or is it?
Well, actually, I've been taking a lot of people who haven't had any sales, because it's hard to undo what they've learned and then teach them NACA. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a lot of questions that come up. But when I did this, you know, and over again, and, you know, tone kind of changes when you say things over and over again. I never want to be mean and rude. But it's almost like, okay, I understand that, but this is NACA. I get that, but this is NACA. We're doing NACA, you know. So, but a lot of the agents, they haven't had too many deals because it's easier to train them on NACA.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree. All right, I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. I think that's pretty much all I had. Is there anything that you think I missed that you want to touch on?
I'm getting ready to do property management classes.
Okay.
And I'm also coming out with a book, Dream Catch Hustle. But
you're coming out with a book. See, you didn't tell me this. You didn't tell me that. All right, so let's bring that back. What is the book about?
All right, so the book is titled Dream Catch Hustle.
Okay.
And what I feel like there's so many outlets for new entrepreneurs, and everyone's like, you got to get your LLC, you got to be an entrepreneur.
The internet is crazy right now.
Yeah, and it's like everyone's yelling the same thing at people. But okay, so I listen to you. Stop yelling at me. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm 3-4 years in. Now what? No one gives anyone the now what. You get what I'm saying? So like, even for myself, I think the hardest part of scaling up is for my clients to realize that. Like, I get a lot of, oh, girl, I'm watching you doing your thing.
Everyone wants to work with you.
You know, and I also get, I'm proud of you, from complete strangers, which I totally take that to heart, because I'm moving so fast that I'm never proud of myself. You know, like I said, I feel like I'm not doing enough. But then half of those people, you know, when they come, they're like, well, I want you. And I'm like, I understand that, but, you know, I'm moving around, and, you know, you just told me you was proud of me because I own all the businesses. So I can only take like maybe 5 clients at this time. Like, at one point in time, I had like 12 to 15 clients at a time. If I put one in contract, I was getting 2 more. And now I can't do that.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that that's the hardest part, is scaling up. So now I'm coming up with ways on how to condition people to understand that Diamond Mine is growing. You're still going to get the same level of service. It just won't be through me. You know, and like I said, my daughter, she does the intakes. And I think that the reason why people are receptive to it is because she's my daughter.
Because she's your daughter, yeah. So they feel like they have a part of you.
Right.
Yeah.
So now what I am hoping to train other business owners on is like, okay, so how do we scale up flawlessly without losing a step, right? I think that what should be created are different memos and different email blasts, like introducing new people to the company and what their strengths are, where their background is, where you know. And at that time only, because we're very critical people, right? So if you read, okay, so and so has been doing this for like the last few years, and they've been, all right, I'll take that person. You know, this is, and I think that that's how we should train people. But no one told me that. You know, I get well, I don't want to use you anymore. I'm like, all right. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't take 50 people, but I have 17 agents here who are just as great. And you still have access to me. Yeah. You know, so
that's the problem that I had in the last like 2 years, because a lot of people, because I'm doing, you know, I do a lot of social media stuff now, so everyone's coming to me, and I'm like, I can't take everyone at the same time, but I'm the type of person, like, I don't know how to say no.
You'll try.
Yeah, I'll try to. I'm like, oh, I can't. And then I'm a little too nice, and after a while, I start taking them on. I'm like, I got like 13 clients now. Like, how am I going to work with everyone?
Exactly.
So my thing was trying to scale as well. So I'm glad that you actually said that. What are you doing as far as branding with your agents? How are you telling them? What are you telling them to do with their own personal brand?
So I tell everyone to find a niche, right? Whether it's multifamilies, whether you are going all the way out to Suffolk County, or you know, you only do the Bronx, like, find your niche and go with that. You know, are you the diva of real estate? Then be the diva of real estate. You know, whatever it is, your niche is, but you have to promote it. You know, Diamond Mine can promote you all day, that's fine. But at the same time, you're still an individual, you're still a contractor, and you need to be able to promote yourself. So right now, I have like, you know, half of them are promoting themselves, but that's pretty much what they need to do. Okay. So far, we've groomed an investor. You know, we have agents who are also starting their own businesses. We have someone with a tire shop right here in South Jamaica, Queens. And we're just, you know, helping people become entrepreneurs also.
That's good. That's good. That's dope. I like that. Okay. I got 2 more questions because they just came to mind. InvestFest. How was InvestFest? I saw a lot of black and brown people in that room. I'm so mad I missed it. I told MG I'm there next year. How was the experience at InvestFest this year?
InvestFest was great. I went last year. And last year, I felt last year was great. Like, last year, to me, if I didn't know Matt personally, I would have never have known that was their first year that they've done it.
Oh, that's a good thing. That means everything actually went pretty seamless.
Oh my gosh. Like, the first year that they did it, you would have thought that this was like maybe their 10th year. Like everything was like down packed, like everything was just moving. So to go there for the first year and be like amazed, second year I'm like awed, like how the hell did they top last year? You know, it was really good, and I feel like we need it, like the culture need. And both times I left there like, all right, when I get back, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this. I got my pen and my pad. You know, so I do think that all entrepreneurs should go there.
I'm there next year.
At least
I'm definitely there next year. There's a lot of billionaires on that stage.
Yes.
That's inspirational as hell.
See, and I've heard of Dom Peoples when I first opened up Diamond Mine Real Estate. Because what I did was I Googled successful black real estate companies in the country. I don't care what it is that you look up, how you type it in, he come number one every time.
I never looked at that. Okay. I've heard the name forever. Yeah.
Every time. So, like I said, I want to mirror a lot of the corporations that I work for, but I want the black version. So
there you go.
So that's what I did. I Googled to see who was number one, and every single time. And this is when I first started.
Right. So when we do that Google search in 5 years, you're going to be probably going to beat them out. Now, I'm sorry, but she's coming for you. Nadira's coming for you. My last question, I started asking this on the last few podcasts because we are the culture, right? I say I was born in the 80s, so the 80s raised me. Okay. But I'm a child of hip hop. If there was one album that you could go back to describe Nadirah Taylor, what album would it could be an album, it could be a song, it could be an artist. If you had to package yourself into one era of your life, what would that era be?
It's so funny. As soon as you started talking, at first when you asked the question, I'm like, I don't know. But like halfway through, it just Kool G Rap, Road to the Riches.
I'm out of here. Kool G Rap? I would have never thought Kool G Rap.
I want to party, hardy, be like John Gotti and drive a Maserati. Yes, Kool G Rap, Road to the Riches.
Road to the Riches? Oh, I would have never thought Kool G Rap.
I'm that girl. I'm the girl with the heels. I like to dress up. I like makeup. But I'm that homeboy's homegirl. Like straight rap.
That's crazy.
Everything.
Kool G Rap does not get brought up enough in hip-hop conversations.
He's one of the top 5.
He has to be one of the top 5s. When people say Rakim, I'm like, you got to throw Kool G Rap in there then.
And I love Rakim, but I'll pick G-Rap over Rakim any day.
That's crazy. That's a crazy way to end this episode. Listen, I would have never thought that. She surprised me with like a million things today, and that was like the top tier. So we playing Kool G Rap with this one. Crazy. Listen, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. I'm showing you a realtor. I was here with Nadriah Taylor, giving you information. Broker. How did they get in touch? Well, you probably can't get her because she's busy. She's all over the place. How did they get in touch with Diamond Mine Realty?
Well, you can call the office, 516-292-4300. And if you can't get me, you should ask for Dominique. That's my daughter. And she's still my daughter, so she can get in trouble. Make sure you tell me. Or you can hit us up on Instagram at Diamond, like the stone, D-I-A-M-O-N-D, Mine, M-I-N-E-R-E. So that's Diamond Mine, R-E, both Instagram and Facebook.
There you go. Make sure you follow her on Instagram. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button. This is one of my favorite episodes so far. She threw Kool G Rap at me. I still can't believe that. It was a pleasure.
And it was a pleasure here, too.
Queens get the money.
All day.
See y'all later.
All right.
That was dope. I would have never thought Kool G Rap. That's crazy. I love Kool G Rap. Yes. It's funny because